yesterday that, of course, Orlando didn't want anybody to see because the dumpster fire that they are. And this is supposed to be the kind of the games you get that picture of what's happening. And they're like, well, God, we don't want anyone to see that. Yeah. So I think that's why.
Yeah, but that's why I brought up the fact that, well, the Loons are not playing, Orlando. They're playing New England in Orlando.
Exactly.
But, and just got to bring this up. This isn't exactly a shocker, but as of 11 minutes ago, Minnesota United FC announced on Twitter that they have officially signed Hassani Dotson and Chase Gasper. Sorry.
Very nice. Good.
Not a shocker there, but at least...
Dotson looks like he could be a good, really, really good addition. And, I mean, Heath has had crazy praise for both of those two. So. Yeah.
So, long story short, we won't be able to watch any of these games down in Orlando because Orlando's a dumpster fire.
And there's absolutely no even chance that it's going to be tweeted or anything.
No, and just I've got the Minnesota United FC Twitter feed up in front of me just to see anything that I could catch on the news that we're talking about here. And it's funny how they word this. I'm going to quote: "Today's match versus any Revolution will not be streamed, and we will have limited updates." So that's unusual.
It's probably going to be. It started. It's halftime. It's done.
So
here's
the official Twitter feed can't even post regular updates. It sounds.
What was my joke yesterday, though? Manny up in the stands with a smartphone, just going like this,
well,
just going Facebook Live in it, just going, hey, here we go.
I mean, it'd be better than nothing.
It would be. Although the funny thing was, it probably happened as Manny be watching the game, and he'd see a hot woman inside, so he'd see the screen go like this, and be like, "Oh, sorry, my bad."
Yeah, all of a sudden the screen slowly drifts.
No, we can't say. I'm sure Manny's a nice family man.
He's a married man. He's got a
can't say
family.
that. So, Sterling, you wanted to bring up a little bit about the Madison FC and then Green Bay.
Yeah, so obviously we've kind of talked about Madison a little bit. Mm-hmm. And after the last episode, they kind of got into, interacting with us.
Yes.
And, the Flock wants to do an interview with us, which I think is pretty cool. So it'd be cool to kind of boost the coverage that we give of them, especially since we'll probably have a couple players down there.
Sure.
There isn't a whole lot to talk about yet because USL season isn't starting until April. But preseason started this week. They've got some games next week in St. Louis. But the thing that I kind of wanted to bring up was they have a pretty cool story about a signing they had. And my God, I'm going to completely destroy his name. It's Vital Nenzemana. I believe is how I say it.
All right.
I have it spelled out phonetically. It's kind of a cool story. So he moved from Tanzania to Atlanta with his mom and his family, and then the very poor. He played in the Georgia United academy. He ended up signing a contract with a team in Mexico, but everything fell through because he couldn't get work permits, I believe is what the situation was. So then he's just trying to work to help his family, support his family. His godmother lived in Wisconsin.
Oh, wow.
And said, hey, how about this? How about I pay for you to come to Madison and go to Madison College, which is the Madison Technical College.
Nice.
And so she'd pay for his tuition. He lived with her and her husband, and so he came up here, and he went to school. He got tired of the rules that they had set for him, so he moved out. And this is where he said he started making tons of bad mistakes. Like he moved in with a friend, then he moved in with a girlfriend. He got kicked out of both places. His brother and him were living in and out of hotels.
Wow.
There was a stretch last year that he was actually living on the street.
Wow.
Madison had an open tryout. He was playing. He had originally been playing for Madison College, so once he was done, he got out, but he tried out for Madison, and he signed.
Wow.
So I mean, it's kind of cool. I mean, I think it's kind of cool. It's one of those kind of feel good stories.
Cinderella story.
Yeah, a kid from Tanzania comes to the U.S. and basically lives on.
He's a midfielder.
Yes.
Yeah.
He lives on the street, defensive midfield, number 6.
Okay. And so you already mentioned that they have a strong goalkeeper in Sylvester. And so their roster's already taking shape. Obviously, it has to. They're well into their preseason as well. But
yeah. So I mean,
and who is the former Loons player?
So I have that in my notes too. Connor Tobin. Turbo Tobin.
Turbo, yeah.
He played for the Stars in 12 and then Minnesota United in 13.
Turbo.
And then he played for North Carolina, and so he just signed with them. So that's a cool little connection.
Yeah, I think moving forward, I think that when we start the season out, I think we can have a little time. We'll call it maybe the Flocks Corner or something like that, where we'll talk about that team a little bit. Get into it. And my feeling is, guys, I think you agree with me, my hope is that somebody down at the Flock or somebody in Madison decides to start their own podcast.
Exactly,
Get with BGN, because they're all about the lower leagues. And we can hopefully get something going down there and then meet up and cross pods and stuff like that.
Yeah, we've mentioned already, I believe, in past episodes that we want to go down there for a game. So I highly recommend that people check out their merchandise because seriously, the branding is spot on.
It is.
It's, dare I say, it might be better than ours.
It's not going that far.
It's pretty good. I mean, I'm eyeing a T-shirt that's like pale blue with their pink logo.
If you can,
right across the chest.
If you can get used to wearing pink, I think it's a great looking.
I think it's fantastic. It reminds me of like Miami Vice.
Nice.
Yeah. So,
I mean, speaking of kits, are we going to get into the new 2019 United kit at all?
Well, let me mention Green Bay.
Let's mention Green Bay first.
And then, let's do that. So, Green Bay Voyageurs. So, first off, Madison's in USL 1, League 1. Green Bay Voyageurs is a new team, USL League 2.
Okay.
They're owned by Madison's owner, Big Top Soccer. And so I think it's kind of a cool relationship because I would imagine, if I understand MLS correctly, that Wisconsin is Minnesota United's quote-unquote region. So there's always, they kind of have first rights to development out of Wisconsin. And so the fact that it's connected to Madison and Madison's connected to us.
So if this team, the Voyageurs, was founded, back in October of last year, did this come about because of Madison, Forward Madison FC?
That I don't know.
Is it part of the hierarchy of
I think
Loons?
it is. I think it's kind of one of those things where the ownership of Madison realized that it'd be nice to have their own feeder.
Yeah, sure.
So it's kind of developing that nice little U.S. sports hierarchy that we're so accustomed to in baseball.
It's like it's like the Wisconsin Railway into Minnesota here. We get some players going that way.
Yeah.
My question is, do you think Chicago's pissed off about the fact that we have Wisconsin now, or do they think they care?
I think they would, because my understanding is that Wisconsin was part of their region. So, it sucks to be them.
Yeah.
Not that they really did anything anyway, but
no.
We've now, last episode I talked about, we have that academy team that's in Appleton, which is obviously very close to Green Bay.
Okay.
So I think it's a cool little connection. I mean, being a Wisconsinite myself, it's nice to have that little connection to Minnesota.
It makes you feel good about being a Loons fan.
So these two teams, I say these two teams, Madison and Green Bay, the Voyageurs, they'll probably play each other at some point.
Yeah, well, they've actually already set up a game, except for I think it's like exhibition.
The different leagues, technically.
Yeah. And I think it's, we've talked about this before, I think it's cool to have a team like Madison and even Green Bay, lower league teams who are close to where we are, and they're easy trips for us to go out and take a look. I go back to Minnesota Twins. Dave and I went down to the the Quad Cities back when Joe Mauer was playing.
Oh, sure,
for the River Bandits.
And it was. I mean, we went down there because
Joe Mauer was playing
shortly after he was signed.
And we went down and saw Joe Mauer play
because that was a low level A team.
Same with single A, yeah,
single
it was low single A, and we got to see Joe and his brother Jake play down there for 2 nights, and we had great seats. I mean, it was a fun trip, and to see a guy like Joe Mauer, who was going to be a Hall of Famer, probably not anymore, but go from that to where he's at, what he became. Yeah. It'd be cool to go to a game in like Madison and see a guy like a defender, somebody who's kind of young and whatever, and then see him up here with United in 2 years, and go, I saw that dude play in Madison. He was good back then. Now he's gotten to this point.
And just like when he made the trip to what was it? Was it Southern Beloit to catch?
Beloit, yeah.
We caught Max Kepler, another young.
Yeah.
And we went out there specifically because. I mean, we it just happened to work out, but when we went to that game, we knew we were going to be looking at these players, not all of them, but some of them were going to be playing for the parent club,
that's right.
In a matter of 2, 3, 4 years.
Yeah, and I think what's interesting with the fact that we have that academy in Appleton, I could really see that academy having a 16, 17-year-old play for Green Bay.
Sure.
Because you've got, it would be logical. It's a big academy. They're minutes from Green Bay, so it'd be pretty crazy to be able to see an academy product go to Green Bay, then they go to Madison, and then all of a sudden they're in Minnesota. I mean
that'd be cool.
These types of things are kind of cool.
Yeah,
I know it's a little bit different from the European setup of the academies, but it's very American sense, but it's cool.
So in closing, guys, Flock members, Madison people, we're excited about your team.
Yeah.
And we want to get more into it, and we will. And we're trying to plan a trip. We're just working on the dates right now. But we'll get down there at some point.
And the Flock has said they want to be on our podcast.
And
in fact, Forward Madison
wanted to
about the podcast, and then Flock said dibs. So
dibs.
Yeah, I mean, we'll figure it out.
Can we have both on at the same time?
I don't know,
because I think it's cool that Forward Madison said they wanted to be on.
Well,
the podcast.
and I don't know what that means, right? I mean, what do they mean by that?
Well, maybe they'll send some representatives.
Right,
it'd be nice. And the Flock, the Flock, of course, you guys being the supporters of the Madison team, whoever you guys want to put on our podcast, feel free. If you want all your supporters to be on our podcast, you can't all be on. But if you guys want to all show up, that'd be kind of cool.
We could maybe set something up.
Yeah, I mean, the more the better. I mean, that's why they, from a professional club standpoint, that's why the Loons and Madison have this relationship.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's the same way, not professionally, but we need to have the same kind of relationship, and we want to follow those teams and follow their players as they come through and potentially up to the Loons.
And even if they don't go to Minnesota, right? I mean, we want to see them succeed, right?
Before we move on, guys, I want to say to Flock members right now, find a brewery in Madison, talk to them, fill it up with Flock members. We'll come out and do a podcast with all Flock members.
That'd be cool.
That'd be awesome. Yeah. I'd love to see that. Let's go to some kind of...
The jersey.
Yeah, the jersey. That's where I was going. It was the jersey thing. Let's move on to that, because that was kind of a...
Hullabaloo?
Well, there's 2 parts to it. One part is the jersey coming out, and it's the new jersey. That's call it the Drift.
Drift, yes. I mean, I think of, as soon as I hear the word Drift, all I think of is Fast and Furious.
I think it's Snow.
Tokyo
Fast
Drift.
and Furious 2, yeah. One of the, I wouldn't call it the worst out of that series.
I actually like that. That's one of my favorite.
Okay.
All right, you're done. Get out.
I liked all of those movies, but it definitely wasn't my favorite.
Get out now.
But
I don't know.
In all,
maybe it's Tokyo.
Tokyo Drift?
Sorry, Dave.
No.
Distracted
I am distracted. I'm thinking about Fast and Furious, and I'm trying to think about the Loons at the same time in your jersey. And fortunately for us, David, you're actually wearing
the jersey.
So we can actually, as we're talking about the kit, we can actually look at it and describe it. But
I'm not going to stand up and model it. So don't ask.
I don't know. Maybe just because I lived in Minnesota too long now. But when I think of Drift, Fast and Furious was not the first thing I thought of. And
Snow.
Yes, and that's what they want, I assume.
Yes.
That's exactly what they are.
And so I think the drift for people who don't know.